As Indigenous people, we have had to be resilient. I would like to honor all of the Kamloops Tissaquatchin people that we have just recently seen have been lost. These families, these aunties, these uncles, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers have known about this loss for a long time because their children never came home. Residential schools and day schools were part of a genocide, and it is our work to continue reconciliation. A little part that you can do is you can donate to Residential School Survivor Society at www.irsss.ca/donate. Chimabech, thank you. Hi friends, my name is Jay Northcott. Thank you so much for joining us for the 2021 Paprika Festival.
My name is Brendan.
Julia.
Taylor Young.
Emma Westray.
It's Nathan Carroll.
Gloria. I'm coming to you from
Toronto.
From Toronto.
We call Toronto.
Toronto.
And I'm coming at you from Toronto.
From beautiful Whitehorse, Yukon.
More specifically, my bedroom.
This year, during this strange isolating time, I've been lucky enough to call this place home. It's a third floor apartment.
So from up here, from month to month, I get to watch the changing of the seasons as it's reflected in the sky.
I love going on walks along the Greenbelt, where I am now, and along the Yukon River.
Watch the water or watch the sunset in Riverdale Park.
I'm located right at the start of Taylor Creek Park, which is the beginning of a series of parks and green space that stretch across the entire east end of the city.
We have a beautiful back deck that looks out to the city.
The last 10 years, I've biked over to the Toronto Islands as many times as I can in the summer. And when I'm there, I experience this near desperate connection to nature. And I also feel complicit in the seizure of these lands and sacred spaces by my governments.
The energy that I feel is directly linked to the land around me and serves as a reminder to be thankful for the original caretakers of this land.
As a settler and daughter of immigrants from Hong Kong.
As a descendant of colonizers and an uninvited person on this land, it also reminds me of my responsibilities as a caretaker.
To refocus on what really is important, which is the people, both immediately around me and in our community.
They also remind me of who I want to be, which is peaceful, still, and in harmony.
This year's festival was produced
From houses,
Apartments,
Home offices.
Kitchens and couches from across Toronto and across Turtle Island.
we would like to acknowledge that all of our pop-up offices are located on the ancestral lands and waterways of
many Indigenous peoples, including the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, the Mississaugas of the Credit.
I would like to acknowledge, welcome, and celebrate the original caretakers and knowledge keepers of this land, the Ta'an Quechin Council and the Kwamlingdun First Nation.
And many other nations who have cared for this land.
acknowledged and unacknowledged, recorded and unrecorded.
past.
Present.
And future.
Hello, my name is Julia and I'm the General Manager for the Paprika Festival.
And I'm Kanika, Artistic Producer of Paprika. On behalf of the entire Paprika 20th Anniversary Festival team, thank you for joining us. Paprika is a youth-led professional performing arts organization. We run 7 year-round training programs for youth and emerging artists, which usually culminate in a week-long festival of the artist's work. However, this year we've got 2 weeks of incredible online programming, our biggest festival yet. We are a proud resident company with Theatre Pass Marai and are so grateful for their support and for including us in their season. We'd also like to thank Native Earth Performing Arts for their ongoing support and many years as our festival's presenting partner. Paprika is held by support from so many theater companies around the city, without which it would not be possible to create the work that we do.
We also would like to thank our lead festival sponsor, the RBC Foundation, for all of their support. We'd also like to acknowledge that we are funded by the Canada Council for the Arts, the Ontario Arts Council, the Toronto Arts Council, and the Department of Canadian Heritage. Paprika continues to run on the dedication, hard work, and time of the staff and facilitators. We greatly rely on private donations to continue providing free of cost training programs. So if your time today inspires your support, you can make a donation online through our Canada Helps page, which we will link in the chat below. If you ever have any questions or technical issues while watching this video, let us know in the chat, or feel free to reach out to Theatre Passmarai's amazing front of house team through phone or email at any time.
Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed the festival.
يما مويل الهوى يما مويلية ضرب الخناجر ولا حكم النابل فيا.
Once upon a stolen homeland in an occupied Bantustan. Once upon a life stranger than fiction, upon a love stronger than addiction, upon a place called Palestine. Once, during the nightly performances of rocks versus tanks, of scurrying little feet and pointed rifles and guns. Once, a young freedom fighter ran. Twice he ran. Many times he ran over and over and over again. Once upon a village older than borders, older than pimple-faced soldiers, older than olive trees and time. There, in the shadow of fortified walls, a freedom fighter ran to the rhythm of church bells and mosque prayer calls. Once, upon a moonlit night, upon a love at first sight, Dalia and Salem's story began. Dalia woke up to a commotion before the crack of dawn. In the streets, soldiers yelled into the megaphone, "The fugitive is hiding, the terrorists will be found." He crashed through her window. She was startled, but he begged,
Please, don't make a sound.
He put his finger on her lips. She liked it. She put her eyes in his. He melted. And that's when they craved to taste each other's kiss. Eyes were lost in eyes. It seemed as though time froze for hours. But it was seconds, no more. The soldiers rudely interrupted. They crashed into Dalia's home. Her father tried to reason, "Leave my family alone." Dalia quickly hid Salem beneath her laundry pile. As soldiers searched the house, they were destructive and vile. But there, in the laundry basket, Salem was quite content. A warm feeling washed over him as he breathed in Dalia's scent, a mix of sweet perfume with a hint of her sweat.
One day we'll tell our children this is how we met.
Dahlia stood defiant and faced the brutal enemy, her eyes sparkling like 2 full moons, her jet black hair wild like waves on a stormy sea. Her voice was soft, her words were not.
Let my family be.
The soldiers were struck by her beauty. They fell into a trance. She was mesmerizing, and they didn't stand a chance. They left, but you think her father was impressed? He was not. Cover up, young lady, he scolded. You should be properly dressed. And as for you, young man, he said, don't come back here no more. Respectable homes must be entered not through windows, but through the front door. But the power of attraction was greater than the rules of father or clan. Salem found himself crashing through Dahlia's window again. He reenacted the scene from the previous night, his finger on her lips in the silver moonlight.
Shh!
He whispered.
Hide me in your arms tonight.
She smiled and pushed him gently away from her simmering body.
Hide you from what? I see no army, and you seem perfectly all right.
Oh, but you can't see them. They're the secret police, and they are relentless. So let me stay, please.
The secret police were relentless. They chased him into Dahlia's room every night for 6 months until Dahlia's father chased him out with a broom. I told you this before, I will say it once more. Respectable homes must be entered not through windows, but through the front door. Salem apologized to the father. The next night he did return, with 40 of his clan marching through the front door to ask for Dahlia's hand. But the soldiers came for Salem on his wedding night. And he was taken into prison, not out of mind, but definitely out of sight. Days and years went by. Salem was in a cage. Dahlia visited as often as she was allowed, but every visit made her feel like she was drinking from the sea, never for the thirst to be quenched, never for the loneliness and yearning to be eased. She heard about women smuggling their husbands' sperms from inside the prison in candy wrappers and decided to do the same. She wanted control over her body, her life, the time the occupation steals from Salem, from her. She wanted to fill the emptiness that gripped her soul. She wanted to start a family. And the thought alone rejuvenated Salem's broken heart and gave them both a reason to live for tomorrow. This was the beginning of Operation Sperm in Womb.
I think of her.
As they loosen his chains and lower him down, as the soles of his feet touch the blood-stained ground.
I think of her.
As they tie him naked to the interrogation chair after the waterboarding, as he gasps for air.
I think of her.
After the beating.
I think of her.
After the torture.
I think of her.
Alone in his cell.
I think of her.
He empties the seeds of his love inside a candy wrapper.
I think of him.
Wrapper concealed in the folds of her dress, armed guards pushing her back into the bus. Visiting hours are over, but her hope stretches past the animals that bark, the animals that shoot, the animals that watch.
I think of him.
The women gather in her house.
I think of him.
They beat on the drums, sing and dance.
I think of him.
They swap stories of love and romance.
I think of him.
As she lays down on her bed.
I think of him.
As she parts her legs.
I think of him.
As she unfolds the candy wrapper.
I think of him.
She empties the seeds of his love inside her. 6 weeks pass before she visits him again. With a hand on her belly and a smile on her face, she whispers,
I carry the promise of you locked up in the deep of me, a secret savored for moments in a world of eternity. I carry you inside of me.
He smiles back at her, the mother of his child to be.
I dance for you on the edge of hope, and when the wind blows through me, I vow to play my heart for you, a tender symphony.
I carry you inside of me.
Dahlia waits for Salem to be free and for her baby to be born. She sings this waiting song.
I wait for you, I wait for him, I wait for him in you.
For his brown in your eyes, for his pearls in your smile.
I wait for him in you.
For his curls in your hair, for his stubbornness in your glare.
I wait for him in you.
For his love in your embrace, for his expressions on your face.
What else can I do but to wait for him in you?
She passes the time watching children play between walls and watchtowers. She passes the time waiting at checkpoints. She waits and waits for hours. She passes the time counting curfews, counting night raids, counting gas canisters, bullets, and martyrs. She passes the time squinting at the sky, searching the sky for answers. She passes the time waiting.
I wait for a glimpse of you. I wait for him in you.
The waiting ends after 9 months. Dahlia's water breaks. She orders an ambulance to take her to the hospital. But the soldiers stop the ambulance on one side of the checkpoint and hold her back on the other.
موطني.
This is not how she imagined it would be. Her legs parted on the blood-soaked dirt, strangers rolling up her skirt, hands pulling down her undies, UN observers counting indignities. They write her down, they write her down, they write her down. A number. She's case number 70.
موطني موطني.
69 women before her, not one, not two, not three.
الجلال والجمال والسناء والبهاء في رباك في رباك.
She inhales strength and sumud and exhales their cruelty. Like a stray animal tossed on the dirt, she's left begging, that ambulance is here for me. She booked a hospital room. She decorated a nursery. She even prepared a music playlist to reduce her anxiety. But all of this is out of reach. She is case number 70.
والحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواك في هواك.
She pushes, pushes, pushes. Gun-loaded phones shooting? Can she have some privacy? She inhales the wisdom of 1,000 matriarchs and the patience of 1,000,000 refugees, and exhales fear and tyranny. She inhales the scent of lemon, the fragrance of jasmine, the warmth of his skin, the tenderness of his flesh. Finally, slipping out of her into a spectacle of inhumanity. She exhales tears and anger. This is not how she imagined it would be. She is case number 70.
هل أراك هل أراك سالما منعما وغانما مكرما.
She breathes him in and breathes everything out until all that's left is him and her, and him and her is all there can be.
هل أراك في علاك تبلغ سيماك تبلغ سيماك.
She wraps him in her scarf and whispers in his ear a prayer. Welcome to our lives, little one. Your conception is defiance, immaculate like divinity, sweet like resistance, like Sumud's sanctity.
موطني موطني.
Once upon a time, the time was gone. It packed up its days, months, years. It gathered its reminders, birthdays, anniversaries, memories, its long and short hands, its pendulums and toothed wheels, and stacked them all inside its suitcase and left. Once upon a time, long gone. Our story still goes on and on.